Hey guys, Tom back for another video. Figured I'd come back and show some records. It's been a while since my last one, so I figured it was about time. Been doing a fair amount of trading recently, so got some great stuff to show. At least I think so. You can hear it in the background. We're listening to Larry Chernikov with Gallery of Air. This is from 1983. I believe his own label, Muse Art Records. Kind of a nice jazz electronic piece. Chris Cole put a bunch of us onto this in the group. Threw a link out there, so I jumped on it. It was really good too. Got it straight from Larry Chernikov himself. So, but anyway, with that, just getting the records. Hope everyone's doing well. It's gonna get cooler out, unfortunately. My least favorite time of year is coming up, winter, but it is what it is. Alright, first up here, Doug Carn, Adam's Apple. Really happy to finally have this. Yeah, been after this one for a while. Doug Carn's last album, and the last one I needed to complete his discography, or his last album on Black Jazz, I should say. His last one on Black Jazz. I needed to complete his discography. Yeah, this is just a sticker on the sleeve here. It's on this and on the back too. So the sleeve itself is a little bit beat up. If you can't see because it's in the shrink, but this was cheap. This was like $5, $5 or $6. So I got it basically. Some guy was selling locally was selling records, and he didn't have really anything I wanted. A bunch of like dollar thrift store stuff, but he had this, and he had a Lonnie Smith record. Not Lonnie Listen Smith, just Lonnie Smith. So I grabbed this and Lonnie Smith for both. I think it was like $10 for both, and I flipped the Lonnie Smith for $10. So got this basically for free. Yeah, pretty nice, like a VG Plus, but really happy to complete my Doug Carn collection. Which I think I have everything else of his other than his greatest hits record, which I don't really care about. Then Kenny Davern, Unexpected. This is from 1978 on Karma. A nice free jazz record, nice little piece. Not a really must-have in my opinion, but it's really solid. Really solid. Kenny Davern usually, from my understanding, usually plays a lot more straight-ahead jazz on his other records. I guess it was like a one-time thing, a one-off project, along with you see other players there: Steve Lacy, Steve Swallow, Paul Motion. Yeah, really cool, nice free jazz. Like I said, solid, but not a must-have. Usually it's pretty cheap, so if you see it, I would say grab it. Worth picking up for a few bucks, but don't go crazy looking for this, because, yeah. Got that copy sealed, actually, I believe. This next one here was really cool find. Don't really have a lot of this guy's stuff, but happy to come across this. Cecil McBee Sextet, music from the source. This is on NJ Records from 1978. Really nice lineup on this. Chico Freeman, Joe Gardner, Dennis Mormon, Steve McCall, and Don Moy. Yeah, on Enya. Really nice copy. Like kind of post-bop, modal times, spiritual feel throughout. Some really nice soloing from Chico Freeman on this too. Really, you can't ever go wrong with Cecil McBee though, right? So, yeah, good one for him though, from 78. One that Chris Cole put me on to, I wasn't familiar with at all, but really good stuff here. So this is Peter Apfelbaum with the Berkeley Arts Company and the Hieroglyphics Ensemble. The name of the record is Pillars. This is from 1979 on a label called Jewish Matador, which I just love the name of that label. I don't know why, I just really like it. Yeah, really, really cool kind of Bay Area, San Francisco free jazz. Kind of all over the place. Like, you have elements of maybe Sun Ra and maybe some art ensemble thrown in there. Sometimes hard bop, like sometimes straight ahead. sometimes more slow and soulful. There's one traditional, I think that's like a African or like a track from Ghana, Ghanaian track. And there's one kind of really out there track with like a really squelchy sax playing, and like a child singing over it. I believe this was actually the guys up on the wall, I believe, were the Berkeley Arts Company, which I think is just the Berkeley High School Jazz Band, from what I understand. So it's kind of cool. I guess it's like a jazz band record, along with the Hieroglyphics Ensemble, which is just Peter Affelbaum's group. Yeah, really cool. Like I said, from '79, nice experimental record. I never heard of it. Kind of all over the place, but it was cool. You know, I guess it's kind of hard to find. So the first track is kind of recorded like crap. The whole thing isn't recorded the best, which I can understand. You know, it's younger guys, high school guys, recording a record, so it's understandable. But the first track really sounds like shit, which sucks too, because it's really more my style, out there, free jazz kind of stuff. But yeah, pretty cool record though. Really happy to have that. Really interesting. Went out after for a long time. Gave up finding the original for now. Yeah, Manuel Göttsching, E2, E4. You guys probably all know what this is. If you don't, basically, this guy's like the originator of electronic music, or like EDM, I would say. He's definitely one of the first to do it. Originally released in '84. I don't know if I said that. Originally released in '84. This is the 2016 reissue on MG Art. I think it's on MG Art. It's German pressing. Sounds great. If you're thinking about getting it, definitely get it. Sounds fantastic. I know it's been out for a while, so. But yeah, just excellent ambient, minimal, progressive electronic music. Amazing build-up. Some nice guitar playing on side too. Just, you guys probably know this is Manuel Göttsching's classic record. Great stuff. So not long ago, I showed the reissue of this record, and once you know what, walked into one of my stores not long after, and I found the original. Ended up making a trade for it. So Clifford Thornton's New Art Ensemble, Freedom and Unity. This is an original from 1969 on Third World Records, his own label. Like I said, I showed the reissue on, it was a French reissue, I think it was on Goody. So I ended up trading that one in, trading something else in. Got this. Great stuff, great stuff. Free jazz, as you can imagine. Kind of more straight ahead hard bop on some tracks. Not really clean playing, more kind of rough around the edges. You could tell maybe they weren't as well practiced, or I don't know, it's kind of rough around the edges playing. Really interesting. Recorded one day after John Coltrane's funeral, and this actually features, holy crap, what was his name? My mind's blanking. Features, where's the guy? Jimmy Garrison, wow. Sorry, I couldn't think of it. Jimmy Garrison from John Coltrane's quartet. So, yeah, you could tell there's definitely some crazy deep feelings going on in this session. You could tell just by the playing. You know, it's definitely there. So, yeah, he's Clifford Thornton, if you don't know, he's a trombonist, a valve trombonist, which I'm not really too sure how that's different from a regular trombone, but really nice though. He really set some nice moods on this. Obviously it's somber at times, but also kind of uplifting at times too. So interesting free jazz, bop at times, but I love it. Excellent stuff. This guy's been all over. He actually used to practice right across the hall from Ornette Coleman and his trio, so I'm sure he picked up some stuff from him along the way, you know. But yeah, Clifford Thornton, great stuff. Still after his Communication Network record, but really happy to have that. Next up here, another sort of cheap pickup on a recommendation from Chris Cole. It says Pat Britt with Star Song. Some nice modal soul jazz type stuff. Hitting some free spiritual vibes at times, but mostly modal. Really nice. Enjoyed it. Not too much to say about this. Gatefold. You usually find it for a decent price. Yeah, I don't think it's too well known. See, if I saw something like this in a store, I probably would pass right by it just because of the cover. I would think that, I think there's his wife on the cover, I'm not positive, but I think it's the case. I would think that something like this looks like a country record or just, I don't know, not really a modal free jazz record, but you never know. And it's on this Catalyst label, which is pretty well known in jazz circles, so maybe if I saw the label I would pick it up, but just judging by the cover, it's probably one I would pass up, but thank you, Chris. Really enjoyed that one. Alright, and next up here, we got all of these records from the same guy. For some reason, he was selling all three. We got Faust, excuse me, self-titled. This is the 1979 Recommended Records reissue, although originally released in '71 on Polydor. The debut record, mix of krautrock, art rock, just general weirdness. Yeah, most of you guys probably know this. Really cool packaging. Yeah, I've always loved the packaging on this. Really cool. The X-ray with the hand and the lyrics and just everything's cool about it. So got that one. And then right along with that, I picked up the Faust tapes from, I think this is from '73 on Virgin, original. Here's the back. Here's the front. Really interesting. Not meant to be a full album, from what I understand. More of a, supposed to be a compilation of like bits and pieces of Faust's own library of private tapes and recordings that were kind of spliced together to make this record. From what I understand, most of it is recorded live and without any kind of post-production or editing afterwards. So that's why it wasn't meant to be a full album. And I think it was actually sold for the price of a single originally, so it sold really well. Yeah, so one I didn't have, really cool, Faust. And then one I did have, but ended up trading in and just getting a better copy of, Faust 4. Yeah, like I said, I had this, probably the most well-known record. Classic, just krautrock, avant-garde weirdness. Although, on this one I think they really found their sound. They balanced it out with more kind of melodic kind of songwriting. As melodic as Faust can get. But, like I said, they really evened it out with the weirdness and the, you know, just more kind of cool songwriting on this. Yeah, great stuff. I talked about this record before. Classic Faust. If you guys don't know it, I highly recommend you go check out this one. But really happy to finally have these three. Still looking for, what's it called, So Far. I think it's So Far, their second album. Alright, next couple here. I got from same person. So this is one I've been after for a while. Black Paladins, name of the record, and it's Joseph Jarman, Don Moy, both from the Art Ensemble of Chicago, featuring Johnny Diani, or Diani, not sure how it's pronounced, but really fantastic kind of trio recording, spiritual jazz. Kind of spiritual music and also world music mixed together. Really, really good though. High recommendation on this one. Not crazy expensive, not crazy hard to find, just really good on the Black Saint label. It also comes on a black cover as well. So, if you see it, pick it up. And from that same seller, on another recommendation from Chris Cole, one I knew nothing about, but I know the label, so always had good luck with the label. So I took a chance on this record, got it for cheap. Really cheap, actually. I think it was like $7, $6. Eduardo M. Cohan and Circo del Arca with DSRI. I'm sure I butchered that name, but it's on Hat Hut, or Hat Music, offshoot Hat Hut. Really cool. Definitely my style, kind of out there, free jazz, but really interesting concept behind this. From what I understand, this was made in '82. They were in Switzerland kind of trying to just do their own thing, playing you know, shows at various places. It wasn't going too well, I guess, and they kind of decided to do this thing where they would do their own music along with like a theater production, more kind of visual production at the same time. And I guess that kind of worked for them for a little while. They were doing that. And this record came with one of those sessions where it was just a visual production along with the music. And it was all kind of improvised right on the spot. Whatever they had, they did. So, you know, if they had just like some crazy costume, if they had like, I don't know, a piece of tape or just paper they utilized, whatever they had just to make it work and make a show. You know, they use like projectors and just weird stuff like that. Yeah, I don't know. You just have to read about it. Kind of an interesting story. But I think these guys are Argentinian, from Argentina. At least Eduardo M. Cohen is. He's a saxophone player. And there's two other players on here as well, Alicia Jara and Igor Francisco. So Alicia Jara plays guitar, vocals, and wooden flute, and Igor plays the amplified alto and soprano flute. So, Eduardo plays sax, I said that. So like I said, mainly free jazz, although also some, I don't know, it kind of goes all over the place. Like it has weird ethnic music at times, it has just repetitive kind of, not drone, but just repetitive kind of beats at times. Yeah, just really interesting stuff. Really happy I picked this up. Eduardo is actually still around. He actually has a YouTube channel, still playing, putting up clips of his live shows, so really cool. Excuse me, guys. Get a drink. Rearrange some stuff here. Alright. Moving on. So these I picked up at the record show. This is going to be part 1, and then I'll show part 2 next time because I picked up a decent amount. Mostly through trades actually too. So first one here, Alan Silva, Skillfulness on ESP-Disk. I believe this is the second pressing. I think the first pressing had a different cover. If you guys know Alan Silva, you know it's free jazz, avant-garde jazz, general strangeness and weirdness. Especially this record, really weird out there. It's from '69. I don't know if I said that. You can definitely hear the beginnings of what were to become his Celestial Communication Orchestra. If you ever heard any of that stuff, you know it's out there. So definitely can kind of hear the beginnings of that. You can also hear the beginnings of his what he calls his conduction, which I still don't really understand what it is. Like a method that he uses for having his group play solos, but also keep playing in one unit at the same time. It's kind of interesting. He bases it on John Coltrane's Ascension, so it's kind of based off that. If you think about Coltrane's Ascension, how it was one big unit, then they played solo same time. So he does that, but more in the kind of big collective type of thing. So for players on here, you have Carl Berger on vibes, Becky Friend on flute, Alan Silva himself plays cello, piano, and violin. You also have Dave Burrell on piano, Lawrence Cook on drums and rattles, Barry Altshull, who's actually spelled differently than usual, Barry, and then it's spelled Altshol, so I thought that was interesting. Yeah, really cool though. I always loved his artwork, Alan Silva's artwork. Like I said, really out there, really interesting stuff, so definitely not going to be for everybody, but yeah, really cool listen. One I didn't have, but I saw this guy actually play live recently, and it was amazing. Really, really cool stuff. I saw him, Oliver Lake, along with Reggie Workman, and Andrew Sorrell, along with Tony. Free show, amazing show. I put up a clip on my channel. Check it out if you haven't seen it. But yeah, Oliver Lake. This is Into Point from Which Creation Begins. His first solo record. I gotta flip it in a second. But his first solo record from what's this from? 76. This one was released in 76, but I believe, I'm not sure when it was recorded. I want to say it was earlier. Oh, 71, recorded in 71. So, yeah, Oliver Lake, if you guys don't know, he was part of the BAG, the Black Artist Group in St. Louis. Really early adopter of free jazz and improvised jazz in St. Louis. Yeah, and this one's no different. This is free jazz avant-garde, although a lot more deep jazz, spiritual stuff, rhythmic, kind of more Afrocentric, really intense at times. This is the Arista Freedom reissue, which is a lot easier to find than the original. And it's actually a promo as well, promo copy. But yeah, like I said, a lot more, kind of more of that deep jazz, spiritual Afrocentric vibe than some of his later work. But still, fantastic. Highly recommend it. And then, along with that, I picked up Charles Tolliver, The Ringer. This is Charles Tolliver and his group Music Inc. with The Ringer. Again, a debut record from Charles Tolliver. It's really nice post-bop, hard bop, modal at times. Once again, Freedom, Arista Freedom reissue. The original is on Polydor, I believe. I think it's a UK only pressing as well. But really happy to have this. You have Charles Tolliver, Stanley Cowell, Steve Novosel, and Jamie Hobbs. Really nice quartet. Come on. Let me flip this record real quick. Alright. One of two Miles Davis records I picked up at the show. Finally found In a Silent Way. Fantastic fusion work from Miles. Classic record. Most of you guys probably know this. Fusion, but also more post-bop, modal. Nice mixture of styles on this. This isn't a 2i, not the original, it's just a regular Columbia label. But it sounds good. I don't mind these, just regular red Columbia labels, because they all sound pretty damn good. In my opinion, I have no issue with them. The cover, I know the cover usually is really ring-worn. This one isn't too bad, but it was a really decent price, so I wasn't going to pass it up. I think the next one I'll show next time around. And then also, McCoy Tyner, Sama Layuka. Fantastic. McCoy Tyner on Milestone. You guys know along that Milestone time, mid-70s, early 70s, right up to the later 70s, he was just doing fantastic work. Just nice post-bop, really colorful, really vibrant, kind of lush playing. Awesome lineup too. Bobby Hutcherson, Gary Bartz, Zara Lawrence, John Stubblefield, Buster Williams, Billy Hart, M. Tume, and also Guillermo Franco on percussion, so 2 percussionists along with M. Tume. And Billy Hart on drums, so 3 percussionists, 3 drummers. Yeah, recorded in 74, but not released until 75, I want to say. No, not released in 74, sorry, that's released later. Anyway, McCoy Tyner, can't go wrong with the 70s stuff. Moving on. I showed the reissue of this recently, but once again, I actually traded it. Ended up trading up for an original. I actually traded, the same time I picked up this and the Clifford Thornton, and I traded both the reissues of Clifford Thornton, and this. I picked up both originals, so Milton Marsh, Monism on Strata-East. Finally found an original. I've been after this one for, seems like forever. Yeah, really happy to have this. Cover just has a little bit of wear on it, but not really bad at all. Yeah, I've talked about this before, so I'll just go through it real quick. Really nice, spiritual kind of free jazz stuff, although it's more than that. It's kind of touches on everything. More structured, kind of avant-garde stuff. African Latin at times. Kind of goes all over the place. Even some straight-ahead jazz, with just beautiful arrangements on this. Really nice songs. Nice songwriting. So yeah, love this, and a great list of players too. Let me just go through this real quick. So you have Renee McLean, David Ware, Reynolds Scott. I'm just going to name some of the more well-known ones. Kamal Abdul Alim, Cedric Lawson, piano. I'm sure there's probably more I'm missing, but those are the main ones. Fantastic. Another high recommendation for me right here, Milton Marsh. If you can't get the OG, grab the reissue. Sounds great. I'm just trying to grab all the Strata-East I can, so it just happened to work out really well. A few more here. I found a couple on New Jazz, the New Jazz series on Fontana. So first up here, a reissue, Japanese reissue. This is Carla Bley, Mike Mantler, Steve Lacy, with an album titled Jazz Realities. Originally recorded in '66. This is a reissue from '84, I believe, with the OB, so it's nice. I'm really kind of anal about having the OB on my Japanese pressings, so I do see a decent amount of them, but I don't always pick them up because they usually don't have the OB, unfortunately. So, or if they do, it's just in terrible shape, or they want too much for it. Always something, right? But anyway, Mike Mantler on trumpet, obviously. Steve Lacy on soprano sax, Carla Bley on piano, Ken Carter on bass, and Aldo Romano on drums, percussion. Really nice. And once again, an album that kind of goes has a little bit of everything. Free jazz, post-bop, although a lot more in the freer vein than in the post-bop vein, but still, really nice. Definitely highly recommend any of these probably on Fontana. They're all great. So I found that, but the ultimate highlight, I think, out of this whole update video here is this one. Finally, I found the Jazz Composers Orchestra Communication, an original on Fontana. But after this one for so long, yeah, I just when I saw it, I just almost cried, especially for what I got it for. Just a crazy price. Let me show you guys real quick. Just so happy to find this. I'm trying to collect the Jazz Composers Orchestra, trying to complete their discography, and I just need Carla Bley's Escalator Over the Hill now, and I think I need the Clifford Thornton album. But this is the stereo. There's actually a mono pressing as well, but this is the stereo. Gatefold, kind of really thin cardboard on this, but it is what it is. And a clean copy too, and unbelievably clean. I don't even want to touch it. Afraid I'm going to get fingerprints or scuffs on it, but there's a label. Label looks really similar to the reissues. But really, really great lineup. If you can see on the front there. Paul Bley, Eddie Gomez, Milford Graves, Steve Lacy, Jimmy Lyons, Mike Mantler, Roswell Rudd, Fred Pirtle, Willie Ruff, Archie Shepp, John Takai,